Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan, and today we are going to look at the third Rendezvous Rye that I was able to obtain. This is the 2021 edition. Rendezvous Rye is a annual release by the High West Distillery, and as you can see, let me just grab. I just got done doing the 2020 video, so this is the 21 video, and you can see that they did a label change. I think, judging from the flavor profile of the 2020, that might be when they started mixing their own distillate in. I could be wrong about that. The 2021 might be when they mixed in their own distillate. Just for a recap, according to the High West Distillery, it's 46%, 92 proof, and it's a blend of, let's see, older straight rye whiskey, so 4 to 9 years old, or so they say. It is 95%, it has a blend, and they don't tell you the proportions, but it has a blend of MGP distillate and their own distillate. The MGP mash bill is 95% rye, 5% barley. Their own distillate is 80% rye, 20% malted rye. So it's a high rye mash bill, straight rye whiskey. And let's see, what else do we need to know about that? So to be straight rye, it must be aged at least 2 years. To be an NAS, which this is, specifically probably because they're blending all different varieties in there, it must be at least 4 years old. So as they say, they're 4 to 9 years old. So who knows what's all in the bottle? They don't tell you exactly what that it is. It's kind of proprietary, I guess. What else do we need to know about this? Let's see here. Batch number says limited supply, so they only release so much every year. This is batch number 21C25. Non-chill filter, I don't believe I mentioned that in any of the other videos. Non-chill filter, if that matters to you or not. Filtering can strip out some of the flavor from time to time. But it also might make the whiskey cloudy depending on the proof and the temperature. So cloudy whiskey doesn't necessarily mean bad whiskey. Let's see what else. I picked this bottle up. So I picked this bottle and the 2020 version up at the Liquor Shed in Casper, Wyoming. Again, same price, $53.99. Kind of expensive, but not terrible. Let's see. I don't really have too many interesting stories to talk about today on this particular video. Let's see here. We'll just get right into the whiskey, I think. Hopefully, sound audio quality is much better on this. I'm going to have to reshoot a couple of videos because my audio... If you've watched a bunch of my videos, you'll see that my audio quality kind of goes up and down, up and down. And what I can attribute that to is, number one, I don't know much about audio. Number two, I don't have anywhere near the equipment or anything like that. Like, I wish I could turn the camera around and you could see. It's literally, I'm shooting this just on my, what is it? I don't even know what brand it is, but a little webcam C90X or C920 is the model. I don't remember. Logitech. It's a Logitech C920 camera. And I got a lavalier mic right here that plugs into my computer there, and I bought it for like $20 on Amazon. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. I'm not getting any money for any of these videos, so everything comes out of my pocket, and I'd much rather spend the money on the whiskey than on the equipment. That's not a viable excuse, I don't think, because if I got crappy audio, you're not going to want to listen to it. And I got a lot of videos with a lot of crappy audio, but I don't think I have the ability to go back and make better videos at this point. This is going to be video like 170 maybe. I think this is a video 170. And some videos I've had more than one whiskey that I've reviewed in it. So 100, let's just throw out the number 180. Why not? I've had 180 whiskeys that I've had to purchase myself. I pretty much have a retirement fund of whiskey down here. And I'm not pining over that because I think that is a lovely thing. I love the fact that not only do I enjoy it, but my wife enjoys it. I can bring friends, family down to my bar and have a good time with a large variety to choose from to give you an experience that you most likely will not be able to get at anybody else's bar, or you definitely wouldn't be able to get at if you were going, to get at a bar if you were going to go out on the town or something like that. And I do appreciate that. And I know in the comments people have mentioned, oh, check out this site or that site for minis. I have bought minis, the little 50 ml bottles, for several different whiskeys, especially things if I can find something that I'm really know nothing about, or I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or whatever, or if the bottle, the 750 is extremely expensive. If I can find that in a mini, I will. Even a 375, that's fine with me. The problem is a lot of craft distilleries, just a lot of distilleries or brands in general, do not have a mini, at least that I've been able to find. And so that is definitely a preferred way to go because, for $1 to $7, you can buy something that might be an $80, $90, $100 bottle, especially when you're not sure whether or not you're going to like it. But I just haven't found enough of a variety that I can buy minis instead of regular size bottles at this point. So I'm throwing out the coin for full size bottles, and I've kind of blown, at least what I can get in Wyoming, I have blown through the 30 to even all the way up to $50 category of a lot of different varieties of whiskey, whether it's bourbon, rye, scotch. I have not dove into the Canadian whiskey too much just because they're all very similar in my opinion, at least for what I can get here in Wyoming. Same with the Irish whiskeys. Those are not typically something that has a large breadth of variety in it, although I will say one of the next videos is going to be this Connemara, which is a peated Irish whiskey, and we'll get into that. That's a little different. But yeah, as far as, because Wyoming is a control state, every bottle that comes into the state has to go through the state warehouse. And if it goes through the state warehouse, that means that pretty much everybody in every liquor store in the state can get that same variety in. And so if I go from town to town, there's not a whole lot of variety there. So I'm kind of to the point where I'm blowing through most of the stuff that I can afford or that I'm interested in that can be found on the shelves here locally in Wyoming. And so that is why a lot of stuff that I'm buying is from when I'm on when I'm traveling, or my wife travels, or a friend travels to see us from somewhere else, just so that I can get that variety. So all that being said, if I can afford the minis, great. If not, awesome. And because of that, budget's going towards whiskey, not towards audio-visual. Although I'd like to think that I'm stepping up my game a little bit and that this audio is going to be a bit better. I looked at some tutorials. I think I got a couple things figured out. The one thing that I don't know is from video to video, sometimes my audio settings seem to change, or for some reason, my audio settings, like my audio will be fine and perfect in one video, and then I'll go shoot the next video and it seems like I'll be peaking out and spiking and doing all this stuff, and I don't really know why that is. Sometimes there's just gremlins in a computer. I hate computers, and so I'm sorry. That's all I can say on that. So stick with me, even if my audio is crappy on some videos. Hopefully the last, 50 videos have not been terrible. I know there might be one or two in there, and if I get a chance, I will redo them. As far as anything else goes, that was like 9 minutes of non-whiskey material. So sorry on that. Here we go. Okay, right away, we've gone back into familiar MGP nose profile. Now this has been sitting here for a couple minutes, but it's a little ethanol forward, but it's that same floral, apple, eucalyptus, MGP, bullet rye, minor case rye profile that everybody's familiar with. However, there is a graham cracker in there. There's a sweet caramel in there. And a little bit of grain rye dust. But this is, I would say, out of the three, the 2019 and the 2020 share fairly similar nose characteristics. More so than that 2020. That 2020 seems to be an outlier of the three. Okay, on the taste. Okay, so on the taste, it is not as MGP. It was, gosh, really, it was a good mix of bourbon and rye flavors. So there was graham cracker. The mouthfeel, let's start there. The first sip, all three of these have been watery thin for the first couple of seconds. Then there was almost a creaminess and a wave of graham cracker that came in. A little bit of honey, a sugary sweet vanilla, and caramel that pushed into a floral apple characteristic traditional rye, floral apple, rye spice. That rye spice picked up, and once again, the rye spice, black pepper spice was the finish, underlain with a nice candy sweetness and actually a little touch of like a saltiness in there, like a brininess almost. Which I don't know if that's just a factor of having had this is the third rye or what the deal is, but it is like a Lafroig. You don't get any of the peat or the seasidiness, but it is like a Lafroig brininess that's clinging on my lips and my tongue. It's kind of interesting. I don't know where that's coming from, or if that's just a an element that has shown up because I've had two other ryes. But I would say that this is going more into a bourbon type profile with its tasting notes and even its nosing notes. It still has those classic MGP notes for the nose and the flavor, but there's more nuance to it than just that. It's not a bullet. It's bullet plus, I don't know, pick a bourbon. It doesn't really matter. Bullet plus very old Barton as far as the flavor profile goes. And even the nose. You know, some of the nuances in the nose too. Next sip. Switched everything around. It went rye spice forward, sweet eucalyptus, florally note, then a brown sugar middle, a nice barrel impact, and then it finished once again with a rye spice, a grain dust, rye spice, and graham cracker underlain with a little bit of sweet and an ethanol ding that picked up like 3/4 of the way through. Man, so out of the three, I would say I'm the biggest fanboy of the 2021 as it sits, the 2020, and the 2019 just tastes like regular MGP to me. It doesn't have a lot going on. That's different. It's good. It's just not different. Put a drop in here. Put 2 drops in there. See what that does. But this is a good mix of bourbon and rye flavors, I think. Even though it's all supposedly rye. On the nose, it woke up that MGP profile. And graham cracker. Man, I got a lot of graham cracker in my head right now for notes. I mean, just boom, graham cracker. On the taste. Wow. I like it with just a couple drops of water. Really sweetened it up. And it took away the rye spice bite. and made it a soft rye grain flavor, graham cracker, sweet vanilla caramel, floral, that eucalyptus in there. I like that a lot with a touch of water. That's a really, really nice rye. Yeah, I've seen other reviews where people have not liked this, so shout out to the Bourbon Junkies. They didn't like the 2021 as much as the 2020. I would like to see them blind the 2021 and maybe do a touch of water in there, because I think they would be mighty surprised by what they brought out. As always, when you do a whiskey tasting or whatever, it's difficult to just go into something with one whiskey and nothing else. If you really want to get your brain firing, you need an A/B comparison. And it doesn't really matter what it is. As long as you have something to compare in your mind, you'll find a lot more nuance in things. And I would say now that this is the third one, that I'm finding a lot more nuance in this bottle than I was prepared to find. So really like that. So as always, drop in the comments down below what you can find a bottle of Rendezvous Rye by High West Distilling in your area for, if you can find it. And it's the annual release. This is the 2021. Let me know what your experience is, what you thought about it, all that good stuff. Any other comments you have. Also, please think about liking, subscribing the video. Check out Rumble, Minds, and BitchUte for Life and Whiskey. And as always, share this with anybody who you think will get a little bit of benefit out of this content. And if you like this content, I'd like to hear about it. So, thank you very much. As always, you guys have yourselves a great day. We'll catch you in the next video. And yeah, take care.